Okay, welcome to the June 24th RSU 14 Withdrawal Committee meeting. First order of business is approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Next topic of business is getting some people to help us on subcommittees and whatnot. So you guys can move forward a little bit, you know. We don't bite much. But yeah, we do. We've got a couple people here. We've also gotten some things on that were submitted on the website from Jim Martin, who is interested in doing helping us out, from Eliza Shriver,
Eliza, yeah.
Marshall Bullock, and Walter Lunt.
Oh, cool.
So.
And Kevin Oliver,
And Kevin
just
Oliver,
was last
who,
minute.
Yep,
He hasn't filled out anything yet.
Who is helping out with Marshall and blah 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 Mark on working up the draft budget and whatnot. So
Kevin Oliver's on the Budget Finance Committee,
Okay.
and he has a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So he's got kids. Yes, so it's a young parent coming into.
And I know a few people too that were unable to make it tonight due
Okay.
to work and family commitments that would also like to be involved.
who are they?
So Karina, I know her maiden name because Benke, thank you. I went to high school.
Karina what?
Beggy.
Benke.
Benky. Oh, Karina.
Yep.
Yeah, Evie and Harrison's.
Yep. And Heather Freeman.
Do you know what committees they want to be on?
I think Karina was open, and I know Heather was too. I can ask them. And then can I just make a suggestion for the town sign? I know we have the committees on there, but it doesn't read well as you're driving by. It almost looks, yeah, the font, it's sort of like cursive-y, and it looks just like squiggles. It's probably hard to tell,
It's an
yeah.
eye test.
Yeah, I drove by today and just saw that it said we're interested in having people involved in committees, but couldn't
tell.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, I don't know if it was even in a clearer font, if we'd be able to tell driving by so fast, because there's like 6 or 7 committees. I don't know if we want to.
Yeah, because sitting still I can read it.
Yeah.
I didn't think about driving by.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
I'll fix that.
Yeah, thank you.
Is it on the website?
it is on the website. So, which are you guys interested in?
I don't know what they are, because
Just
same
gonna
thing, I saw the sign, but I couldn't read it.
Yeah.
Well,
I was
one
just
of
gonna
the-
say we
yeah.
may want to list them.
Yeah. I mean, one of the big ones that we, that needs a lot of work at the upfront end would be on staffing and educational programs. Because what we're looking at there is, okay, what's there that we like, what's there that we think we could change for the better, what's there that, and come back, to be able to come back with recommendations on here's what it can look like, and here's what we can do to help move things along that way. Technology and things is another one. Policies and procedures, that's going to be somewhat cut and dry, because a lot of the policies will, essentially, we should be getting those from the RSU. So, so it's a matter of, the school board would have to integrate those in, but it wouldn't be creating from whole cloth anymore. And then we've got contract services that's a little bit more cut and dry, because that's looking at some of the infrastructure and so that can be, we can handle that in a number of different ways. But another one is administration. Another big one is looking at it from the kind of the one Raymond approach. How can we integrate services between the town and the school to make better use of talents that exist on both sides of there. And that one, we've got Teresa is heading that one up. Kate, we put in charge of programs and services. Marshall is doing the budgeting side, and Joe has the withdrawal negotiations with Mark. and Dan, so, and then the others will kind of fill in, so. Which of those are you more interested in?
Are you looking for people on both sides? So people that are for it and people that are not for it, or?
I mean, it's essentially, I look at it, it's kind of a blank piece of paper. It says, okay, look at it from the standpoint of, if we were to, if we do this, what would we want it to look like? And it doesn't matter really if you're for or against from looking at it from that standpoint, because quite frankly, the one perception would be, be it right or wrong, because Wyndham is so reluctant to send anybody here, is it because we're deficient? And if we are, then why are we? If not, why are they unwilling to send people here? So I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint of, okay, are we deficient? Are we offering the same services? Are we, and are there things that we could do by ourselves that would give us more flexibility to do things that we think are important for the kids too?
So, I'm sorry. You really want
Actually, with just two of them, they could sit in the.
Susan Brackett, 47 Plummer Drive. So I'm interested in, I think, the first one you said, but my quandary is that I'm not for the separation. So if in being on that committee, I'm on all the committees you listed, I'm just not sure where I would best fit. Because I'm not in support of it.
I think my take on this is our job now, moving forward, is to give what a school would look like back in Raymond again. And let people say, even if we give them the best school, it's what we have, what we can have to offer and stuff like that, then it'll be their vote whether they still want to stay with the RSU or not. But I think our job right now, moving forward, is to say, okay, again, like Rolf says, here's a clean slate.
Yeah.
What would Raymond look like? This is the programs we have. These really work. Oh, but wait a minute. There's one or two that we could probably ditch and maybe put something else in it, possibly, is what it is. But to me, it's moving forward to say, people want to know numbers. So that's what we're doing with the budget. People want to know what we can do with the town to save costs as far as working together to do the one Raymond. So to me, we're building literally like a Lego structure that shows this is what our school would be if we had. You can still vote no. But people want to actually see what it would be without.
So in joining one of these committees, it's just so if this were to happen, this is what it would look like?
Yes.
Is that kind of what
Yes.
it is?
So you can be against it still.
Okay.
But we still have to present everything to the public is what happens. And we want to be able to show them, yes, we can have this, or no, this would be a lot more costly if we did this. That's why we're just putting everything out there as not a new school, but as a standalone.
And what type of commitment is it to be on one of these committees?
That's the easy part.
I mean, it's, Kate would kind of, if you went on the, on that, the programs and services, you'd have some initial organization or whatever to get, but then it would be, okay, go and you check this, you check that, and then you come back and, you're not looking at hours and hours a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, then you can put me on that one.
I mean, the other way to look at, way to look at this is, you don't want to look at it from the if the vote ultimately said no, is the work that you put into that for naught? No, because if you identify things that are reasonable and whatnot, and that goes back to an RSU 14 board, would they ignore that? If they do, what does that say?
Right.
And I completely understand your situation. I've made it known. I am in the exact same
Right.
situation. I'm not for withdrawing yet. It's still, you know, I guess I'm just trying to look at it in the lens that it's important to do this work to make sure that we are giving our students the best option. I think your view would be great because you know a lot of the stuff that we have in, yeah, so I'm going to call my committee the stuff committee, that we have as an RSU that is available to faculty and to students that we would make sure that we wouldn't want to lose.
Okay. Right. Right.
I think it's getting committees together to give the people the most educated vote that they can have. That's what it's,
Yeah, and just so you understand why is because
It's on video.
that way the whole world can hear you.
Oh, good, because that's what everyone wants. Anna Keeney, Haskell Ave. I actually didn't come with the agenda to actually sign up for a committee. I came to see what's the need is and mull it over a little bit and see what I can do, if anything. So, and I will say the last time we did this, I came in very much pro-withdrawal and left very much anti-withdrawal. So it's all in the research and making sure we do that. So that's all.
Well, when you decide what you want to do, you know, there's two ways. You can either email me or we've got if you go on the website, we have the form on there, so and that captures so we contact information, whatnot. So, and then you just identify what you're looking,
Nice and easy.
what you think you might do best on.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
She's a frequent flyer. She's been with us before.
So you've got the people that Karina and Heather, were they program and services related, or?
I think Heather would probably do, her expertise would be best in programs and services. She's a teacher as well at the middle school, at Wyndham Middle School, and she's got 2 small children in Raymond. I don't know what Karina was thinking. No idea. Yeah.
I know time was an issue for her, so she was looking for something that's not meeting like nightly or anything.
Oh, no, wouldn't.
I don't want to.
I think the more nightly, well, yeah, you guys is kind of tough, and I know the financial is tough as far as making sure we have numbers. Mine's easy. I can go in and sit down and talk to Dawn as to what the town can do together with Raymond.
Well, either, if you want to send me her contact information, I can get a hold of her, but, so that gives you 3 anyway.
Yeah, and then I do think there are more. I think we're competing against an 80-degree day, and it's, and kiddos are, I know for me, it's hard this time of year because kids are home from school, so I think that's probably some of the things that we're up against. I don't know how well people know to sign up on the website. I think we need to get that message out more. I certainly blasted the PTO page just talking about this meeting tonight so that people knew just to come to sign up. Again, I can't compete with 80-degree weather.
Well, I think that was probably an issue. That's how I found out about it was from, do I need to go things?
We really should have just gone and sat over.
Do I need to say my name again and everything? No. Okay. So yeah, I do think that is a big issue. I happened to see it because I saw it on the Raymond PTO, and and on the sign I noticed it too. But it flashes quickly, and then there's 10 other things that flash. So if you're just sitting there, it takes a while to go through. But so I don't know how to better get it out there to people, but I definitely think that is an issue, that people just aren't aware.
Let me ask you this question. We did a quick survey at the election on how people are getting their information out and about town and whatnot. Yeah. How are you getting yours?
I get from Facebook. I mean,
and that was one of them.
Yeah, from Facebook. I mean, from the Raymond PTO Facebook page is how I got it. So I don't know is there a withdrawal committee Facebook page that people could like and then get info from?
We didn't because we were a little worried as far as who was going to do it and who Also make sure if it's a town employee that there were no legal implications on it. But what we can do is we can run an article in the Wyndham Eagle that everybody gets.
Yeah.
And even if they don't want to sign up online, they can come in here. We can have applications ready or a piece of paper. What do you like? We can fill it in for them and that type of thing. Yeah, on that survey was all kinds of things like the sign, the Wyndham Eagle,
Yeah.
Facebook, anything. We're trying to find ways that people can do to get word out is what it is. So,
And the
maybe
other
we'll just
issue
keep running the
too
PTO.
is that I see that there are meetings, like on the sign, I see there are meetings, but then it doesn't say whether they're open or closed. So like there was a meeting I was planning on coming to, and then people were like, oh, that's a closed meeting, you can't come to that. So that's another thing that I think is important to put
all of them are
on the
open
sign.
except
Unless they're
for.
closed. No.
Well, I think the last one you had was closed. At least that's the word that was going around.
Well, it was, and the reason we, that's when we go into executive session. The reason we have those is because we're still working on the withdrawal agreement. And because of that, obviously, it's negotiated issues in there, so that happens there. But the intent is that all the meetings are open meetings. This one will have an executive session after we finish this part, but once the withdrawal agreement is finalized by both sides, then there really isn't any need for executive sessions other than a rare occasion, but
So it might be good to just put that out there too, like open to the public. Or,
Let's just
you
leave
know.
them all open like this, where we have an open session. If anybody wants to come, update, whatever, and then we can go into executive session. That way they'll all be considered open until we do go into executive session. Just a suggestion.
well, the last one actually was designed that way. It's just that everybody thought it was closed,
Right.
and nobody came. So,
Yep.
but yes.
And what I plan on doing operationally is if you do have any meetings that are strictly executive session, it's going to say executive session only right straight across the middle of the sign.
Nice. I'm wondering too if the sign that we have for the committees, I was just trying to kind of think as we're sitting here, instead of listing the committees on the sign, maybe just say, please see the website for that. And is there a way, I know we have the drop down, okay, am I getting?
No,
into the
I'm
weeds
laughing
here?
because we literally just got 302's fire department sign saying the same thing as what they had up here.
Oh.
Because half of the town on the other side wasn't getting all the messages. So we were just talking about how can we condense some of this
right,
stuff
right.
so we get the word out.
I asked to put all the committees on, but it is very.
It is.
That one you're never gonna see
You need to
driving
go
past
slow.
Monday.
And then you can yeah,
You get
we're laughing
rear-ended.
just because we just
Yeah,
just went through
that's
this
why I
whole talk.
attempted to make it stand out, because
Yeah.
using the different font, but it was clear to me sitting still.
I mean, the color definitely stood out
Yeah.
to me, but I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
It's
I
good
know
to hear
I'm
that.
getting old and my eyes are getting bad, but. And
Yeah.
then I don't know.
Yeah, I can see the gray
After
hairs
yours,
popping out.
don't
Yeah, exactly.
And then I don't know if on the website we can make it more. I know we have the tab with RSU withdrawals. I
But
just
people
don't.
have to go look for it.
Yeah, no one wants to look for anything
No, I want
nowadays.
quick swim fed.
Yeah,
I'll call
and
Lorraine
myself
first, though.
included. I don't want to look for things, and I don't know how it is mobile friendly too.
The,
I think it's
the
okay.
difficulty is, we can't just keep it on top all the time,
Right.
because we have other things in the town that need to be on top. An election, the fact that we're trying to hire someone, there are other important
yeah.
town messages that we need. What I can do is talk with Kevin, about maybe having some kind
How
of
about
a,
banners?
something, yeah.
Can you do banners?
I don't know, I think we probably can,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I'm
that's
not
why I was like, I'm
positive.
not sure what we can
So
do
I'll
there,
talk to
but-
Kevin about that and see if there's something we can do to at least point people to hit that button up there.
Yeah. I do
How
think,
often-
I mean, I do truly think and I'm not putting blame anywhere on this statement. I think there's a communication issue. It's just not getting out there. And
And that's why we did a survey at election day, is
Absolutely.
to try and
Yep.
figure out how we can kind of
When's-
squat
Yeah.
it, help.
when's the
Yeah,
next
and that's why I'm not-
newsletter?
Yep, nope.
It only goes out quarterly,
Oh, it only goes out quarterly,
Yeah.
okay.
so it went out
Yeah, it went out
June-ish,
2
so,
weeks ago.
yeah,
Two-
so.
I brought it up to
September.
the select board to get a communications person, to see if we can hire somebody to get all word out to everybody. My idea. Don't squash it.
But today, people are even past Facebook and Twitter, they're onto something else. So for someone to stay up with the technology
Oh,
of
yeah.
how people are getting their news feeds literally fed to them, we don't have the staff to do that, unfortunately.
No, I completely understand.
I've never done Facebook or Twitter.
Okay, so, you'll kind of coordinate with them on getting started there. You're gonna start working the Dawn side.
Yep.
Marshall and Kevin are working the budget side, and we'll start to flush in some of the others as I'll get a hold of these, the people that sent there and see where their thought processes are more. But there's some, actually some, some good,
Good candidates.
It's really good. Yeah. You said you're a new
yeah.
resident.
Jim Martin said his family is new to Raymond community. We have 5 children who will be attending Raymond schools. His professional experience entails working in the human services field for the past 15 years as a social worker. So he's got some talents there. Walter, 30 years retired teacher. So there's there's some there's some good help that can come from those areas as well, and hopefully we can start to get some more in there as well.
I'll call
So
Lorraine.
put the word out.
Right.
Other questions on subcommittees? Okay, next thing we're going to do is go into executive session. So you
Thank
will
you
have
for-
to leave.
But it's still nice out, so you're lucky.
And you can still go out and get bit by black flies and mosquitoes, so.
All right, so a motion to
Thank
go to
you for
executive
coming.
session pursuant to 1 MRSA, section 405-6E.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor? Okay, we are in executive session, Kevin.
I'll make a
Okay,
motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
all those in favor?
Jeez.
Okay, make a motion to have Dan present or update the agreement with the changes we discussed.
To allow it to be presented.
And to be allowed to be presented once, yep.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. Motion is approved.
Nothing else?
No, move to close, or,
Motion to adjourn.
thank you. And a second? All those in favor? Closed.